Hi, everybody. It's Raul Olivas here. Thank you for joining us on episode 3 of the Attention Deficit Hour. And as you know by this point, our hour actually means about 20 minutes. For those of us who have ADHD, an hour is too long to sit still and listen to anything. So, thank you again for being here today. I'm in beautiful, sunny Southern California. One of the things that I've learned is that being out in nature definitely helps you clear your mind, helps you alleviate stress, and reminds you that it's all good, right? Like we're very fortunate to be here. We're blessed. Hope everything is great out in your neck of the woods, and hopefully you get to experience beautiful weather as we near the summer. One of the things that I wanted to talk about during this episode is my ADHD, right? Um, for those of you who have it and who have been following or have just started following, thank you. It feels good to know that there's other people that continue to power through this every day. And there's so many aspects of ADHD that are challenging. And it's very easy to um, let our brains go negative. And I've learned that you don't have to do that. There's a path forward. It's not easy, but if you identify certain steps, you'll get to a place where life is better. And again, we wake up every day. We're blessed to have loved ones near us. We're blessed to be able to do something that we enjoy. And I'm happy that I'm here talking to you today. As I've been reflecting on my ADHD experience, there's different elements that have made an impact on me. You know, finding out that my brain operates differently and realizing that there's an actual medical term for it definitely was a moment of clarity for me. And I know that's an oxymoron for us ADHDers. Clarity is usually not associated with ADHD, but it made sense. It finally made sense. And very fortunate that I got here, and many of you have gotten there or you're in the process of getting there. You know, as I've started to piece together a lot of what ADHD has done to me and for me, both good and bad, I've tried to communicate it. I've tried to make sense of it. And the I, one of the ways that I describe it is it's a bad brain, and by bad specifically B.A.D.H.D. And all of our brains can fail us from time to time. But when you're ADHD, it seems like you're fighting amongst yourself constantly. When thinking about the bad brain, I thought that each element within the bad brain makes some sense, right? And I'm going to talk a little bit about my bad brain framework. So I'm a fan of acronyms, so I went B.A.D.H.D today. We're going to talk about the B itself. Although I'll be talking about the meaning of the B today, I do want to introduce you to my framework. So B means balance and belief, and I'll go into more detail as to what I mean by that when it comes to ADHD. The A means awareness and acceptance, and that also obviously has meaning for us with who struggle with ADHD, and you know this particular uh, podcast is going to talk about B, but I just want to introduce the framework. The D means determination to dream, and the H means healing with humor. The last D means driven to develop. And each of these particular areas are methods for seeking to manage our ADHD in a way that we can positively heal, we can move forward and be effective in our relationships, at work, in our organization, you know, finishing tasks, all sorts of things that plague us from day to day. In talking about the bad brain framework, we're going to talk about the first B, balance and belief. Here's the thing, guys. ADHD can be challenging on a day-to-day basis. Understanding that is something that we work toward every day. So when we talk about balance, what does that mean to me? Here's the thing. I think sometimes our brains are so hyperactive that we have a list of tasks and things to do that in itself overwhelms us. And although it's coming from a good place, right? We're looking to be efficient and be successful for the day. The part that most people don't understand is although you have the intention of accomplishing these tasks or events, sometimes that intention alone can affect your ability to feel successful. It's a catch 22, right? Stuck between a rock and a hard place. So with that said, it's important to have balance. And what I mean by that is understanding that as we start our days, we do want to be effective for that day. We do want to take a step forward in accomplishing our goals and connecting with people. When I talk about balance, I mean being okay with not being able to accomplish everything, setting yourself up to be successful at one thing. Yes, 10 things are great, 20 things are amazing, but one thing's good too, guys. Like, get it done, right? One thing builds to another, and that builds to another. And the reality is, as we piece things together a day at a time, we get closer to whatever goal we're seeking to accomplish. So, having the balance in your life to be okay with not being a superstar off the bat, but being your own superstar, whatever that means. And that if that means getting one thing done today, then awesome. So, what I'm going to challenge you with today is before you go to bed, think about that one thing. Think about that one thing for tomorrow. It might be a massive project, it might be a small task, but accomplish one thing tomorrow that gets you either closer to completing your task or makes you at least feel like you were accomplished for the day. And having that balance to be okay, even if you don't accomplish it. Because you know what? If we play our cards right, we'll be here tomorrow and the next and the next. So take advantage of time and just be okay with the balance that life comes your way or brings your way every day. So, what do I do to balance myself? Well, I'm kind of a night owl. My brain just goes, right? And I take that to my advantage. I sit on the sofa at night, my wife and kids are asleep, and I kind of come up with a plan as to what I want tomorrow to look like. And sometimes it's just one thing, and sometimes it's five things. But I also am mindful of, feeling as though I can accomplish those tasks. And again, I remind myself that no matter what, taking any steps tomorrow, and I've already taken the step, right, by jotting down my ideas the night before, to me, that brings balance. Like, it makes me feel like it's going to be okay. And I think part of what's difficult with ADHD is your mindset can go south on you fast. We can go negative. Everything can fall apart, chaos, sadness, emotions. Remind yourself it's going to be okay. And when you remind yourself that of that balance in life, like, it definitely takes the edge off. Another way of achieving balance is doing what I'm doing right now. Try to get some exercise. Try to get your body moving. The weather is as beautiful as it is right now. It's nice to be out and about. Something about being out in nature just refreshes your spirit. So that balance can be achieved whether you're writing something down or whether you're walking, whether you're watching your kids play soccer or watching other kids run around. It's beautiful. So get out there, take a deep breath, and appreciate the beauty that we get to wake up to every day. So wishing you all the balance in the world. We're going to talk about a different B now. All right, we're going to talk about the next B. And in my opinion, this is one of the most important parts of the framework: belief. You got to believe it, guys. You got to believe it's going to be okay. And yes, there's going to be some days that are rough, but guess what? There's going to be some days that are awfully great. So enjoy those moments and also manage your expectations, right? Like, if you're having a tough day, what steps can you take to not have that day replicate itself tomorrow, right? Small steps. That balance we talked about just a second ago. What do you have to do to believe in yourself, to be able to accomplish the goals that you have set for yourself? And there's a variety of ways to do that. And I think part of that is the idea of mindset, right? Like, I think we all want happiness, right? We all want to be valued and loved. And we all judge success differently. But I think what's critical is you have to believe. You have to believe. Like, our purpose in this world is to make a difference with others, with your family, your loved ones. Like, I have a hard time believing that we're just here by accident. We all have a reason for being here. And part of that reason is believing that you're worthwhile and that you have something to offer. So when we talk about believe or believing in yourself, there's various ways to make it happen. But one of my favorites I learned from a colleague of mine within the last decade, and I love it. And I'll share that strategy with you. And the name of the strategy is called Speaking into Your Soul. Basically, the way this works is you get together with somebody you respect, somebody you love, your partner, a sibling, a friend. And it actually works better if you have a couple of people. And we want it to be, people that you hold dearly. So you sit together, and each of you takes turns sharing 3 things you love about the other person. And as the person who's taking that information in, you're not allowed to say anything. You just sit there and you listen. And then once you hear your 3 things, you take your hand, right hand or left hand, and then you rub it in. You rub it in. And just remember that you're valued and that you matter to a lot of people in this world. And I recommend doing that as often as you need it. When things are hard, any little reminder that you're an awesome person is great. So give that a shot. And then why don't you reach out to me and let me know how it works out for you. I'm a big fan of it. Along with trying that previous strategy, it's important to address, like, when seeking to believe in oneself, you have to make sure that your brain doesn't beat you, right? And what I mean by that when I say that is negative self-talk, in my opinion, is the cause of most of our problems. A lot of times our perceptions are off base. A lot of times we make up stories about how things are going to play out. We base future experiences on some of our maybe not favorite memories. And the reality is you're beating yourself. The day hasn't even started. The event hasn't even occurred. So when seeking to believe in oneself, it's identifying positive self-talk. And instead of telling yourself, well, I can't do this, why don't you tell yourself what you can do, right? Tomorrow we have a project that's due, or I need to work toward this. Okay, we can spend all day talking about all the things you can't do or can't figure it out, but what do you know? What can you figure out? What steps can you take to make it better? And if you start thinking about it in a more solutions-oriented manner, you'll feel more accomplished. You'll feel more in control. And one of the luxuries of having a bad brain is that we fight it all the time. And you know what? We have to remind ourselves that in the end, we control the show, right? And yeah, the brain is a strong piece of our body, but the heart matters, and our ability to control our emotions is something that we work on, right? So remember that, try to be more positive towards oneself, and then also be okay with yourself. Like, have a little empathy. It's about the positive growth mindset, right? Like, okay, maybe we didn't accomplish this, but what can we do? What did we learn from it? And then move forward. Another thing that's critical is, like, celebrating small victories. Like, We can spend all day talking about what we can accomplish, what we didn't do, but what did you do, right? Celebrate. Life's too short, guys. And there's a lot of real difficult days in our lives. And there's a lot of really great days. So instead of making a day that maybe wasn't perfect worse than it was, celebrate what you did accomplish. I got a lot of work done today. I'm filming this video, getting a chance to share some experiences with people that hopefully could benefit from it. So to me, that's a win. And you know what? You should celebrate your wins too. All right, folks, this is a shorter podcast than normal since I focus only on one of the letters in the acronym. Again, I'm starting to share my bad brain framework with you. Today's focus was on the letter B. I feel like I'm on Sesame Street. B for balance and belief, right? You got to have that balance in your life to be okay with good and bad and make the best of situations, but at the same time, have the belief that you're worthy and that better days are ahead and that you're going to accomplish something and you're going to be able to look back and go, you know what? I would not be the person I am today if I had not had certain failures. And, I'm a big fan of saying failures don't define you. It's your response to a failure, right? You should learn from everything, good and bad. I've been successful. I have not. I have failed multiple times, but you know what? I keep going. As my dad used to say, keep kicking, right? So not only am I going to keep kicking, I'm going to keep learning about myself. I'm going to keep sharing my experiences with you, and I look forward to helping others who live with this every day and just in reminding you, you know what? You're going to be all right. It's going to work out just fine. It takes a little longer to figure it out, but you know what? In my opinion, having ADHD makes me a better person because I have abilities that other people take for granted. Makes me strategize more, makes me be more mindful, makes me be more empathetic. When I really want to do something, I do it. And I'm excited to hear all about what you guys are doing. Again, thank you for being here for the third episode of our Attention Deficit Hour. As promised, it's a lot less than an hour. So thank you all so much. And I look forward to touching base with you on the next one where we talk about the A. Does anybody remember what that A was? I'll wait. I don't want to spoil the surprise. All right, guys, take care. All right, everybody, I'm having an ADHD moment. I have to spoil the surprise. The A in the bad brain framework means awareness and acceptance. And then during our next podcast, we'll talk a little bit about why it's important to be aware of the challenges that you face on a daily basis and accepting it. And it sounds awfully simple, and it's not. And I look forward to talking in depth about what steps we can take to be better on both those fronts. Because in the end, you deserve it. Have a wonderful day, everybody. Take care.